Okay. So we just got to Paradis. That it looks like is significantly under assault.
Snow? Why is there snow here?
That's gotta be Ringgrim's work. I heard she made it snow in Shatterscarp.
Oh.
Wow. But why snow? Oh my god. I've never been this close to an Archmage.
Rin, what you doing?
A familiar face.
Hi?
We meet again, Envoy. And you, Yardsley. You're always a prodigious and welcome sight.
Oh, yes. Always a pleasure to see you, too.
Paradis burns. Thanks to Ludwine and the Steel Garrote laying siege to it. But the Dream Scourge is gone.
I killed Ludwine at Mount for you.
She must have come back to life. Again. I suppose we couldn't be lucky enough for her to stay dead.
It's remarkable how hard you mortals fight for causes that'll be forgotten within centuries. Still, I do think the world has been irrevocably, if minimally, changed by your actions.
Wow. I freed Sapidal. That's incredibly world-changing.
Perhaps. A new god being set loose on the world is certain to have consequences. Mostly, I'm curious
it's the third
about
time in a
whether
row
you think
she's done
you've
that
made
animation.
the right
Come on now.
choice.
Oh. Somebody wrote on that lady's face. It's okay. Now we can say things like, I can't believe that you feel that way. It's written on your face. And that's awesome. The past is behind us. What matters is what we do now.
Not thinking about one's choices is still a choice. I wonder if you will have more hindsight with what happens next. I am interested in seeing the outcome of your story, Envoy. With luck, it won't end with you also on fire.
I hope it ends in a long nap after some excellent food.
Mortal comforts are so very adorable. All you desire are your base needs lavishly fulfilled.
Yep,
Goodbye, Envoy.
that's it.
And Yardsley, I do look forward to when all of this is done. I am eager to work with you.
Yes, of course. I look forward to working with you.
Oh my. Carmen says it's rare seeing Cohh live below 1K. Well, it's not very rare when I've been online for under 15 minutes and I'm on my alt channel. Yeah, that kind of checks out.
Promise we're safer.
Pretty normal, actually. Oh, it's Tarzan. Oh, it's these guys.
Envoy, you're back. We came running as soon as we saw the ship.
It's the souls, the
I'm
twin
not very
souls.
tough. Tazarak probably saved my life. I've never seen a Zorep fight like that. I didn't know he had it in him.
That's
we
cool.
wouldn't be here without you.
That's a really cool story. I like that they did that. Good throwback to previous games, too. Hi. All right. Let's head down. Not gonna lie, I missed the days when chat was quiet. Dude, that's one of the reasons this channel exists.
What happens in Dawn
It's so nice.
shall ripple across the living lands.
Do we even know what we're doing here?
Nope.
Oh, Envoy, how good to see you here as we stand together at the brink of this historic event. I don't know if thank you is precisely what I want to say, but I am grateful to you for bringing Dolna's theft to light. Paradis burns from the torches of the Steel Garrote. The people of the living lands stand ready to defend their home.
Will you be recording today's events for the archive?
Yes. What happens in Paradis now will decide the fate of the Parkrunen after all.
What's the plan if Paradise falls?
We will find a way to persevere. We Parkrunen have a gift for surviving inhospitable conditions, and always have. Whatever the outcome of the upcoming battle, do not forget us. I fear that more than our deaths. If Edir and the Steel Garrote have their way, they'll strip the history books of any mention of our culture and our ways.
That's exactly what they tried to do with the
Future
Akita.
generations will only ever know us as an appendage of the Empire. I hope it doesn't come to that.
That will not come to pass, I promise.
I hope so, Envoy. I truly do. That's as much as I'll say. You have a role in deciding what happens next. Do the right thing, Envoy. Let history remember you for the correct reasons.
Giata, where have you been?
Where haven't I been? I journeyed to the heart of the living lands, where time held its breath, and dreams had more substance than
Thanks, Red.
reality.
May I see it?
Not if you value your life.
Envoy, I knew you'd show up eventually.
How is Emerald Stair? More importantly, how are you?
Thriving on both counts, I'm happy to report. My revenants were just getting comfortable in Thirdborn when the Steel Garrote stepped out of line. When I heard tensions were brewing, I thought to myself, this is a job for the undead. So I gathered the flock.
Okay, real talk. If these two people are from the same area, then I think we need to get Giada's liver checked out stat. It's nice to see you, Elia.
Likewise. I'll keep them on a tight leash, just in case the Steel Garrote breach our defenses. Better to have them and not need them.
Okay.
Oh, and I've been meaning to thank you. Whatever you did in the garden seems to have worked. Emerald Stair is healing, believe it or not. Once this is over, our crops will flourish like never before.
Thankfully, the Dream Scourge is behind us.
Indeed. The metaphysical currents of the living lands are beginning to settle. Best of luck out there. And don't worry about a thing. My flock will keep us safe and secure.
Thank you, Elia. My compliments to the flock, as always.
We know you. Did you help us? We must have seen you in a dream. We smell steel. Should we run? Or could we stay here?
We held them off in Fjord. We can hold them off here too.
How's Casagrada?
As prepared as he'll ever be.
Who knows? Maybe all this will make a hero out of him. Nobody's taking Paradise today. Not on my watch.
These are like all the people we saved and did stuff with throughout the game, which is really cool. Oh. Oh. I'll just go ahead and take this. You don't need it, do you? Okay.
If you're wounded, find a place to lie down. Someone will get to you before you bleed out.
Hopefully.
If I seem distracted, I apologize. I'm tending to the fallen, as you can see.
Need anything?
Believe it or not, we have more than enough supplies. The Clavager knew this day might come. Unfortunately, my hands are full with the dying and the dead, and there's too many of both. If I don't get any sleep, I might be the next casualty.
Take a break. You're no good to anyone exhausted.
I suppose I've earned a couple of winks. You look like you could use a few.
I've got 3
Next
kids.
time we see each other,
Pretty much this way the whole
just hope
time.
the fighting's done.
Sound advice. A good commander knows when people are at their limit.
Nice, Emma. Awesome. Marius again? Hi.
Envoy, didn't think I'd be seeing you again.
Big save.
One battlefield to another, eh? Drink.
Hi.
Envoy? Is it really you?
Mihala told us you went into some place called the Garden to seek a god?
When you didn't return, we took you for dead.
What did you see there? The god you felt in Nakutadek?
The origin of the Dream Scourge? It was the act of a god this whole time?
Everyone, please, please. We could get to the bottom of this if you would only let them speak. It's been weeks, Envoy. What happened?
I met the god of the living lands and freed them.
Sapadal was responsible for the Dream Scourge. Their rage, their confusion, their fear.
But the plague isn't over. Dream Thralls still litter Shatterscarp.
There won't be any new infections. We've put a stop to that for good. Unfortunately, there's little we can do for those already in the grip of the Dream Scourge. We can give them comfort, nothing more. This will be a process. The Dream Scourge was never going to simply go away overnight.
I suppose it stands to reason. I found that a quick fix is often anything but. What of this god, then? What does it mean that you freed them?
Sapadal is the god of the godless and the god of the living lands. Wodika imprisoned Sapadal in the garden, and I let them out.
Wodika, no doubt, saw Sapadal as a threat to her authority. So, she killed the godless and imprisoned their god.
I assume it is this god we have to thank for the roots tearing apart Paradis? They erupted from the earth the moment those bastards stood up their first siege tower.
Nakutadek was riven with those things, not to mention what they did to the land.
We saw similar destruction at Nakuku Bell. If these roots and the Dream Scourge are the work of a god, and the gods thought it best to imprison this god, how could you let such a creature go free?
Sapadal was afraid of a Deern invasion and Wodika's return. They didn't mean to hurt us.
For now. Who's to say they don't get their feathers in a ruff again and wipe us all out with a tsunami?
It was Adir's arrival that disturbed Sapadal. We'll have nothing to fear from this god once we expel you from our lands.
Sapadal's power ravaged my people. I don't know that I can ever trust it.
Keeping watch over Sapadal was a sacred task Nandru gave us when he left. For that reason alone, my wardens owe them their allegiance.
It's so funny that she doesn't understand that Nandru was actually brought out there by Wodika specifically to imprison and keep Sapadal away from everyone else. The literal point of Solus is anti-Sapadal. And she's like, well, since we've been guarding him the whole time, we're on Sapadal's side. It's like, damn, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, oh, man.
Well, whatever happens, I suppose we can't put the godling back in the bottle now.
But come, we have more pressing matters to attend to. The Steel Garrote have attacked Paradis.
Whoops.
Inquisitor Ludwine has already joined the battle. She must have traveled like the wind to get here so fast.
I distinctly remember killing Lodwin on top of Mount Foria.
You did. I kicked her corpse when you weren't looking. Just to be sure.
Well, she's seen better days, but you wouldn't know it judging by how she fights.
Ludwine's plowed through the militia like a knife through warm butter.
All right, let's keep the similes to ourselves.
I really thought I killed her for good.
Oh, cheer up. You wouldn't be the first to make that mistake. Might not be the last either, depending on how things go. So long as her passion for Wodika lives, so too will her spirit.
Then we destroy her faith, and the rest of her will follow. I have a theory about this. Let's talk at camp if you want to hear it. But I think we can kill her.
Oh, good. That will be easy.
It is not, I think, impossible.
What did you know about this attack, Ambassador?
Well, you might not believe me, but I didn't want any of this to happen. It was Ludwine who called for the attack.
I didn't hear an answer, Ambassador.
She and her Steel Garrote laid siege to the city, shortly after you beat her to the garden.
What's the state of the city?
We've had no news from inside for several days. From what we can observe, southern Paradis is in pieces, and the remaining militia batters at the gates to no avail.
Is there nothing our people can do?
Given the state of our supply routes after the Dream Scourge, and the Steel Garrote's destruction, we expect the people trapped inside will run short of fresh food and clean water in a matter of days.
What's the status of the opposition?
We brought as many Hail and Able from Thirdborn as would come. But after the Dream Scourge and our losses from Nakuku Bell, we could spare so few. I worry it won't be enough.
Likewise, my wardens are still reeling from effects of the eruption. The keep was saved, but there is much to repair, particularly if we are to endure a siege. Most of my men remain at the keep. I can't risk them against the Steel Garrote for the sake of Paradis, not when we are so few.
What are your plans for a counterattack?
Well, it's been a point of debate. We can't agree on how to stand against the Steel Garrote, nor who should lead the effort.
Nobody wants to risk their people at the front.
So you let the Paradis militia go it alone?
Even if our meager forces should make it inside,
The siege won't end until Ludwig does. And none of you know how to kill her.
precisely.
What's she up to achieve here?
The lawful settlement of a new Adirian colony, supposedly. Or the establishment of a Wodekan state. She could win with a godlike in her ranks. Your presence would serve as a powerful endorsement.
Fat effing chance of that.
Somewhere inside that hollow head of hers, I believe she always hoped she'd turn you to her side. Remember, she has an obligation to Wodeka, a solemn oath. And neither the Steel Garrote nor the queen that was look kindly upon oathbreakers.
Why did she decide to attack Paradis now?
Because a victory here would discourage resistance elsewhere. The better question is, why didn't you stop her?
Excuse me? She's a 7-foot-tall skeleton powered by her devotion to the goddess of retribution. This isn't my fault.
Sure. Just blame the dead woman.
Okay.
Very mature.
Who else should I blame exactly? Our envoy, perhaps? For not stopping Ludwig in the tusks?
You could start with blaming your own incompetence.
We can assign blame when we're done.
Why are you treating him with kid gloves when Paradis cries out for help?
Because Paradis is crying out for help. Quit your bitch and let's go.
Enough. I've heard your concerns. We cannot change it now.
The Inquisitor was so convinced the Living Lands would unite against Adir that she's nearly made it true. One people, one law, one true God. That's Ludwig's vision for the Living Lands.
Lots of true gods, right? It's more than that, isn't it? The foundations of Adir are crumbling.
That's what Ludwig thinks. Adir doesn't revere Wodeka as fervently as it once did. Worship of Mogrin, Berith, even Aethys has gained a foothold. Many no longer trust that the gods are listening. Some question whether they guide the wheel at all. The Empire lost its foothold in the Eastern Reach. The well-bred avoid child-rearing in pursuit of cosmopolitan pleasures. The Church is weak against them. In a world of soul against soul, Ludwig believes we have lost ours. The Empire must change, or it will die.
He's not the only one who feels that way.
Even the Emperor can see, in some sense, that she's right. Why else would we be here?
Do you think no. Still go out and explore any alternatives before trying to attack? Of course they didn't. Adir could set a new standard for greatness in the Living Lands? No. Is this what the Emperor wants?
The Inquisitor answers only to Wodeka. In attacking Paradis, she has dragged us all far beyond the bounds of the Emperor's desires.
Alright, what happens next?
I've answered your questions. Now I would like you, all of you, to answer mine. Ludwig has sent a message to the Emperor informing him of her attack. He will send advisors and reinforcements swiftly in response. What will his representatives find when they arrive? A new colony? A budding grave room? Before you face Ludwig, you should know what you're fighting for. All of you must decide, together. But whatever you decide, understand...
Interesting.
The days of the frontier are done. Adir will come. Indeed, we are already here.
I'm not familiar with a Grafram. How does that work?
The Living Lands would retain its own laws under a grave appointed by the Emperor. The grave would be expected to promote and develop the Living Lands to our mutual benefit. They would divide the island into administrative districts and see them governed by mayors appointed from the local communities. The island would provide tribute in the form of resources and taxes, and in times of war, soldiers. The Empire, I should note, is nearly always at war. In return, the Living Lands would enter Adir's sphere of influence, and should outside nations attempt to invade, we would come to the Grave Room's aid.
Who would be our grave?
Naturally, that would be the Emperor's decision. But I suspect he would choose you. Only the strong survive the frontier. I used to believe that was Ludwig.
Interesting.
But you were born to rule here. Quite literally.
Wealth, power, you can't offer me what's already mine.
The riches of your state may dwindle in time. What if you could shape the very future of this island?
What do you guys think?
Tribute, he says. Taxes. Soldiers. The Empire has tried it all before. Look to the Eastern Reach if you don't believe me. They want to bleed us dry. To fill their coffers and fight their wars. To break us like wild animals. But I will not bend.
It's still a gamble, but I think it's the safest bet. We'd get the benefits of Imperial trade and protection without losing all of what makes this place special. There's no way of knowing what it would mean in another generation or two. But right now, it gives us the security and stability to recover.
We were fine before Adir showed up, and we'll be fine when they're gone. Trust the lands and her people, Envoy.
If we give Adir power over us, we can't be surprised if they decide to flex it later.
What do you think, Sapadal?
Subtle, pernicious, cut the rot, yet the disease remains. Safety among spiders.
Wait, spiders? Why is that green?
A web gleaming.
Is it gonna be like a spider is an arachnid with 8 legs?
They wait.
Oh, well, yeah, basically, it's okay. Tell me about the other possibilities.
Of course.
How about a united Living Lands?
Oh, Envoy, no. Do not suggest that lightly. Think of the Emperor. There would be reprisals. Ones which this conclave could not survive, fractured as you are. Not unless you came together and formed a nation of your own. It would be difficult. No, impossible. I'm certain you would fail. Think of your people, all of you. Think of the lives at stake.
What do you guys think?
We deserve our autonomy, even if we must fight for it. Anything less would be surrender.
Fleeing someone else's laws and authority is one thing, setting up your own is another. We're an island of misfits and dissidents. We'll still have to surrender some of our autonomy, and we won't agree on what that means overnight. We'll be vulnerable. Without allies, other powers will see us as ripe for the picking. Know that this is a hard road to walk.
We were fine before Adir came. We'll be fine when they're gone.
I think we ran things perfectly fine before your kin got here.
Okay, we're doing it.
Though I'm hardly eager to work with any of you. I like the idea of twisting beneath Adir's boot heel, even less. So long as the Wardens can continue our vigil. I'm open to uniting, if you...
Okay, Wait, are we not gonna like tell her that
you are?
There's like no point
It's
to
a
her
nice
vigil.
idea, but consider the costs. If we walk away from a relationship with Adir, we're leaving a lot of trade on the table. But the people of Thirdborn have friends in the world. I'm sure we'd find our way through.
Actually, wait a second. I'm getting a bit confused here, because I was just thinking about the timeline, and I don't think I understand this properly. Okay, Nandru. Nandru is the guy that made Solus. He was a godlike of Sapadal. So he was born. Nobody knew. The Akita were long gone at that point. So when Nandru went to the Living Lands to make Solus, at no point was he contact or talk to Sapadal. Was the only person that Nandru talked to Wodica? And is Wodica the person that gave him charge to build Solus? Because the thing that I'm not really understanding here is Nandru had a purpose, but who gave him the purpose? Because we know Wodica was involved, but at what point did she get involved? Like there... Yeah, okay, a lot of chat is guessing. So I get, do we not, maybe we don't get this information. Huh. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, the thing that I'm curious about is how much influence did Wodica exert to get to make Solus? Like, was that was Solus a creation of Wodica to guard the crystal? Or was Solus, or did Nandru do that on his own volition? And how did that work if so? So, I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep going for now.
With the Envoy's support, we'd have a god in our pocket. What could the Empire do to stop us? When my people return to Fjord, we could create such miracles of animancy.
Yeah, I remember talking to
Nandru
in the cave.
The breadbasket of the world.
Or to talk more to him. All of these questions are because we talked to him in the cave. Like, he said some very interesting things. He obviously wanted us to kill Sapadal, I think, which is interesting. So,
Of course.
I know what I'd like to do.
Well, don't.
We're fighting for a united Living Lands.
Oh, gods have mercy.
Yep.
Solus and her wardens stand vigil with the Living Lands.
By grit and steel, Thirdborn stands with the Living Lands.
Fjord and her animancers stand with the Living Lands.
We deserve this opportunity. Thank you for believing in us.
Fighting a battle together is easy. I just hope everyone's willing to stick it out when it comes to the politics.
God, they made the right decision for once.
Finally, some sense permeates the proceedings.
On your head be the consequences. That leaves the matter of Ludwine and the Steel Garrote. She will never surrender, Envoy. You must kill her, or we will lose Paradis, and eventually the island.
Let's do this.
The Living Lands will never be free until we break the chain around our necks. Ludwine must die her final death.
She better say her goodbyes while she can.
I'm proud to fight at your side, Envoy. One last time.
Let's get to work then. We gotta watch
Unless
some
there's
corpses
DLC or a 2.
The Paradis militia will be at your back. Give her no quarter. The future waits for you.
Nod solemnly.
Show them a fight, Envoy.
We will send reinforcements to help you reclaim the Eastern Gate. From there, work your way to the main plaza.
Understood.
May all the gods of Eora and the Living Lands protect you.
Let's take back the city together. Show the Steel Garrote how the Living Lands takes care of its own.
Time to stop the Steel Garrote.
Oh my god, we've all
Lead
said
the
our
way,
one lines
Envoy.
like 3 times now.
Let's go free a city, shall we?
Okay. Oh, wait. We have to talk to people. Hold on.
Can't sleep? We're going into battle for the soul of the living lands, rallying under the banners of the Paradise Militia. Your Emperor will not be pleased.
I have influence in court. My report in the living lands will change minds.
Political influence is dangerous. If you aren't careful, it can turn against you. When a godlike fights in battle, people take note of which side. The Adherents will doubt your loyalty. The locals will doubt your commitment. You may even doubt yourself. This is the first time you were told to pick a side. And I fear it won't be the last.
Girl, I'm a noble. This is the first time you were told to pick a side. Are you kidding me? You don't know me. The living lands accepted me for who I am. I can't forget that.
All we ask in return is that you do the same for us. From what I understand, your ambassador is very persuasive, very powerful, and very accustomed to getting his way. For a politician like him, losing a battle is not a defeat. It's an opportunity. When he promises you the world, don't
Wait,
listen.
this is all pre-talk to him stuff. You can't offer me anything I already possess. Okay.
That is an advantage.
Yep.
And we're going to need it. I'm glad we understand each other. Time for you to get some...
Ah, here we go. Let's do this one.
In truth, I'm not as worried as I used to be. I've been thinking about the Inquisitor. Formulating a theory, you might say. A Death Guard clings to their existence by force of will. Stubbornness, unfinished business, that sort of thing. Ludwig is held together by faith. And that may be her undoing.
How so?
Faith is the foundation of her reality. Faith in the righteousness of the gods. But according to her faith, Sapadal should not exist. A new god independent of hers? Blasphemy. By that logic, you shouldn't exist either. And yet here you are.
So I'm supposed to, like, logic her like she's a computer? Like, does not compute.
By staying alive, of course. You are the godlike of a heretical god. A contradiction to her reality. Can you imagine how much she needs you to die? Her entire worldview depends on
I mean, there are
it.
other gods, though.
Who knows? Maybe that uncertainty is enough to make her mortal again.
See, this would make a lot
Or
more
maybe
sense.
not. I'm just theorizing as I go.
If Wodika was like the
Whatever
only god.
happens, I want to see it for myself. For the research.
Okay. Still, that's cool, though. I wonder if we'll be able to
Me
bring that
too.
up. Okay. Oh, again?
We should take a moment to acknowledge what happened back there.
What happened?
You liberated the god of the living lands.
Oh.
Now they are unchained, free to do whatever they want. That's quite a gamble you
Amarok,
made.
sure. Keeping Sapadal trapped wasn't good for the island.
No doubt it would have gotten worse over time. If not for you, Sapadal would still be pacing their cage like a wild animal. Which means you have leverage over a god. How do you plan on using it?
I'll use it to make a better living lands.
That's a lot of responsibility, but I have faith you're equal to
Gavri,
it.
it was the game that never ended.
Sapadal's imprisonment shaped this island. Now that everything's changed, I'm curious what will happen. We cannot know if the living lands will normalize or destabilize as a result of our actions.
So in YouTube chat, Majima Goru just said, "Hey Cohh, you should play me Pirates if you have the chance soon, Keck W." Thank you, Majima. I will see you soon. I will, and I'm looking forward to it. You're so much. So much. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Eventually. Maybe you'll find some comfort in prayer, now that one of the gods is listening. I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. The subject matter is a bit much for our little camp.
For you, anything.
You're too kind. I want you to know this has been an unforgettable experience. Wherever we go from here, I'm grateful to have been a part of it. Until next time.
Cool.
Pleasant dreams.
What's up, man?
You should get some sleep. Big day coming up.
You know, a part of me was like, if that's all Marius said, and that's all he wanted to say, that would have been so perfect. You should get some sleep. Big day coming up. Anyway, I'm going to bed. Have a good night. End of conversation. Like, that would have been amazing. That would have been like classic Marius. I see you're still up.
Right. Things feel different now. Wrong, somehow. I've been in a lot of dangerous situations, but it's always been a fight to survive. It's just a fight. Putting my life on the line for someone else's cause. It's the opposite of survival. It's foolishness.
You're right, it does make sense, but sometimes it's necessary.
You know, I've never seen a bear go to war. They fight for survival, not for causes. We're about to go out there and risk our lives for, what? A concept of how things ought to be? We might die, all to determine who sleeps in the nicest house in Paradise until the island decides it's time for a change. It's fine, really. But it's some blessed day Sokka when you think about it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm glad you're with me, Marius.
Right. Careful you don't get stuck in all that sap. I'll be all right, Envoy. You go get some blessed day rest.
Bring my boys back. Let's do it.